All right, everyone, welcome back. So now we know we have implemented the registration functionality along with the verification of mobile email as well as phone number. Now it's time to start working on the login form. So I'm going to start the development server, PHP artisan server, and I'm going to start the XAMPP server as well. So I will search for XAMPP and start that. The login functionality will be quite simple because we have installed the Laravel Breeze and they have by default the authentication functionality. So if I go to auth.php, auth web, that is the route file. Here you will see that if I search for login, here we have get as well as post routes for that. So I'm going to go to this route and I'm going to implement the template that we have. So here we have the I am at different, as you can see. I'm going to go to routes, and this is pointing toward if I search for this file like control, um, as you can see here we have the view. So I'm going to go to that view, and this is pointing to guest. So um, I'm going to add my own layout. So this extends and till that we can find out the login uh, template for the this. So if I go to my templates, here we have login.html files. If I open that up, as you can see, it looks pretty good. So we are going to implement this in that integrate this template into that page. So I'm going to control V here, and all I need is the inner part. So I'm going to copy everything from the body tag and all the way to the bottom, and control C that, close that out. And here we have to extend the like if I go to register, here we have it. So here we are extending the register page, right, the layouts guest page. So I'm going to do that as well. So extends and layouts guest, and then we have two sections. So at section of title, and this is going to be login, and then we have um, another section, and before that I have to end this section, and then um, section of content, and then I'm going to paste the content and then end this section. So now if I save this, and the development server is running, so if I click on that, it's going to show the home page, but as we have the middleware on that, it's going to automatically redirect me to the login page. Now we need to add the icons and all those things, so I'm going to go back here. Now we don't have the functionality of logging in with social media, so I'm going to remove that part, and here we will integrate the form that we have right here. So I'm going to explain that. Copy the form itself, the CSRF as well, and I'm going to implement this over there. So if I come here, we have the logos, and this is going to be coming from the config file. So I'm going to add like f.name, and this is going to be pointing toward the home route. So I'm going to use URL in this case and pointing to the slash URL, which is definitely the home route. And then we have login and register um, buttons. So I'm going to add routes for that. So route register, sorry, that is login, and this one is going to be register route. So I'm going to add that route register, and now we have to add the login functionality. So I already have copied the form. I'm going to paste that. This is pointing toward the login route and sending post request. Here we will have the email address. I'm going to add the username, or we can add any of that, but the email is optional, as we have um, email and phone number. So I'm going to go with the username. So name is going to be username, and enter your username. So enter username. Now the second is password. I'm going to add the name for that. So name equals to password, and we will have to validate that on the backend. So um, we have the remember me button here. So and then the forgot. If I add the route for that, we already have these functionality in the at the top, the built-in PALM that we have, and we can use these errors as well. Like if there is an error, then go ahead and show that. Also we have to add the old, like the value old. What this will do is, like, if the value if you submit a PALM and you have some errors, then it's going to have that, like in our case username, we're going to be removing the password and leave the email or username in our case. So what I'm going to do is I am going to here, as you can see, we have the remember. So I'm going to identify the name. This is checkbox, and name is remember. So I'm going to completely remove this, as we have that one. And then here we have I'm going to copy everything from here, so that I can do one thing, like instead of going up and down, I'm going to remove everything and save that in another file. And then I'm going to grab this, come here, and in the forgot option, forgot password, I will paste that section. So here we have the don't have account, then click on register. This is going to be finding to all the register out definitely. So let's add that as well, register out. And then or sign in with social media. So we don't have that option, so I'm going to remove that. Here we have the login models, as we remove the models from the previous. So I'm going to do the same for here. And now let's implement the functionality. So login, um, we have username and then password, and let's add the old, like the value. So value of old, um, so that we have the old value for this, because this is a username, not a secret like password. So I'm going to add username here, and then we have remember me, and then we have like don't have account and forgot option, as you can see. So I'm going to paste that, and we don't have to check that because we're going to be already having that thing enabled. So I am going to just uh, remove this one, or add these classes to that one. Like if I grab this, and this is the tailwind stuff, so I'm going to replace that with this one. And remember me, oh, so forgot your password, oh sorry, I used the wrong thing. So definitely we will need to remove this and this, and forgot password. I'm going to um, cut these classes from here and add that right here, and I'm going to paste it and remove this one because we have the same thing over there. And then we have to add the remember me option. So like if I go to this one, here we have the remember me has a name of remember me, so I just need to add the name because the backend functionality is going to be the same. In the ID, let's change the ID as well to remember me, and it doesn't have the name, so I'm going to add the name as remember me. And then we have password here. What else do we missing? Then don't have account registered, that is fine. And then this is going to be the submit button, not a link. So button type is going to be submit, and then the end of a button right here. So button. Now if I save this, let's try that out in the browser. So I'm going to refresh the page. One thing I'm missing, I guess, is the icons, and everything else looks good. We have links, we have remember me button and register button, and now we have to add icons. So if I go to the register, or register, let's view that here. I'm going to copy the feather icon and then come here and use the same thing here, and then I use I didn't copy it, so copy and paste, control V, it's not working. um, Copy from here and paste it here. Okay, now we need to add the icons. So if I search for the ZF icon, as we implemented that in the previous video, so I'm going to add that icon here. So dollar icons of get icon, um, and then passing the name of the icon, that is ZF, and then we have to add the username and password icon. So if we see here, we have the email icon. So I'm going to, I think as we tested with in the previous, like in the registration form, these icons are not available in the package that we are using, so we're going to be using just the user. And let's try that out if that is going to work for this one. So that will be cool. Like if I get the icon with the name email, like get icon passing the email and then the password. If the email is not available, then I'm going to go with the user, because it does exist and I'm going to use that. And for the password, we have used the lock previously, and which does work, so we don't have to worry about that. So uh, dollar icon of get icon and passing the lock button. So now if I refresh the page, let's see if we are going to load the icon successfully. Now the icon, this is actually icons, not just icon. So I'm going to add this and refresh the page. Oh, another error. um oh, sorry for that. I'm going to refresh the page and let's see. I did remove that. Let's do one thing, remove that and see. As you can see, we have missing the email icon, so I'm going to go with the user in this case. So I will use user icon for the email field, and that is going to work for me. Now as you can see, we are missing the same thing, like it is going to display the actual HTML, and I don't need the HTML, I need the content of the icon, like the SVG, and I have to use the HTML syntax. So I'm going to go with that. Select all of them, come here and add two exclamation marks, add a space, and I guess we have some error. Yeah, we have error, so do the same for all of them. Now I guess that is done, so let's view that out. Now as you can see, pretty much done. We need to just add margin top. So I'm going to come here and to this field, I'm going to select, okay, so style and margin top, negative 10 as we tested in the previous section, like in the registration form. So if I save that and come here, let's see how does that looks like. Okay, so I think we need to add the margin in the positive. So if I set that to plus 10, still doesn't looks good. So now I think we need to add these to the icons itself. So if I grab that, where is the icon, like if I select this area, um, now we have selected both of the icons, and if I set the margin for that, yeah, it does work. So now I have to just add minus, so that will be in a minus. As you can see, now it looks good. So minus 10 pixel of margin top. So now we have this, we can now integrate the backend for this, but before that, let's try that out. So if I pick filler, use pick filler, we have to add like the validation, so client side as well as server side. So I'm going to input type text, so I'm going to add this to required, both of them, and then placeholder, and then I'm going to add a section for viewing the errors if there is any. So if I go to the previous um, form that we have, like the login form, they have a section of status, out session status, which is I guess showing a status or session values, and they have error. So let's use that. I'm going to copy that to username and password. So if I come here to the username and password fields, I'm going to add let's go for p tag, and it's going to have like, we can go to the register and use that syntax as well. Let's see if we have anything like that in that section. We are using this kind of syntax, so let's try that here and see if that's going to work. So x input error, and the name is username, and the same for password. This is in the correct place, right? So if I refresh, let's make an error. Palm is not submitting, so I have to check the login button. We do have submit button. Style input, we are not able to submit this, so let's see what is wrong with that. I think um, if I do one thing like palm group, somewhere this is targeted like yeah, as you can see the farm is ending above, and then this is ending below the farm. So we have the submitted button should be inside the palm itself. So now if I submit this, we should see an error, but we don't see any error. That and we the functionality of old value does works. That is cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and view this component. It's going to loop through each message and display it. So errors of get, I think we can add like the same thing. If error of this, then display that, and that is like error definitely. So if statement here, so if and blade kind of if statement. So if error of that, then go ahead and display it. I think we don't need any kind of loop here, just display the error. So if I go ahead and make a mistake like make an error, some random credentials, and submit, still don't see the error message. I think I can do one thing like if I do for each, which loop they use for each, yeah. So for each dollar error, all is dollar error, like getting all the errors and looping through them and displaying them one by one in the view. And then instead of a li, use p tag. Classes should be like text, or we can use the alert as well. So b dash alert is going to bring alert. Alert should be dangerous, and the content should be the message. So message, double message, or error, I guess, because we are looping through them and assigning each value to error value. So now we have issue dollar error for and in for, this is the errors, I guess, and if we have error, then go ahead and display that. Let's remove this one, and let's see, we have the issue um, like for each, yeah. So that should be for each loop. So if I refresh here, syntax error in for each, and let's try that out. So I'm going to use page filler, submit the form. Here we got error. One thing I have to do is I have to use this in the registration form as well, because the thing that we have used over there doesn't work. So we have to use this syntax. So I'm just pasting that and coming out of that thing. So now what I'm going to do is, as you can see, they are saying email field is required, but we have removed that field. But now we have to do one thing, like if I come here, the post request, go to this, where am I? Go to this class, and then here in the store method, we have to check the login request, and instead of email, we have to check for the username, and that is going to be required and string type and not I email. So now that would be the request, and then adding guard, validating, and then generating token, and then redirecting to home. Yeah, this one. So session generate intent route service provider home, authenticate. Yeah, so we need to change this method. So this is inside request out login .php, login request.php, and here we have to change the email to username. So we change that thing. Then here, this one only username and password, and then the username. So everywhere you see use email, you should change that to username, and then right here we have to change this to username as well. And then um, throttle key. So if I change those things to username, now if I submit the form with some random credentials, now as you can see, we got the correct kind of error, like this credentials do not match our record. Now if I use filler and submit the form, it's not going to register me. So I'm going to register myself with some correct credentials, and that I think we can do one thing, like use seeder, because later on we will be pressing the data again and again. So that will be like better way. So I'm going to database seeder, and here we will create one user. So what I'm going to do is, we already have this thing, so I'm going to use this, and we have the I guess first name. Let's go to a register user controller and grab the complete form. So register user controller, and I will get everything from here, come here and paste them like so, and then let's remove that. Include the user model, include the str. So use str, and then the first name. So let's spell these manually. First name will be Tauseed for my case, and Zaman last name, and let's say Tauseed Zaman, and then mail. Profile, let's leave that empty, and then email. So Tauseed, Tauseed Zaman at connect us, connectme.com, and then mobile, let's leave that empty because we have optional things, and then the password. So I'm going to include the hash, and then make it password, and then we have to verify that as well. So email underscore verified it to now, so our account will be automatically verified, and we will no don't need, I think we can leave this because there is something I want to show you guys. in the whenever we log in and we haven't verified our account, we should be redirected to the verification page, not the home page. So that's what I'm going to show you. And then we are good to go. We have to include the hash. um, let's leave that. I think that is going to work without that. I'm going to use php artisan db colon seed, and see if that's going to insert the details, but hash not found. Okay, uh, I have to include the hash method. So um, this is the hash method, but hash, and let's use the seeder again. Now the username, then the spelling mistake, so username, and use pig filler again to seed the peg data, and this time we successfully seeded the data. And now I am going to log in with the with those credentials. So I'm going to go to login page, and then log in with Tauseed Zaman as username and password as password. So if I click on login, now I am redirected to the home page. That is cool, but my account is not verified, and I don't want to be redirected to the home page until my account is verified. So that is what we are going to fix that issue in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.